You know what? I've finally come to the realization that Islam is, in fact, the religion of peace, and I guess we should be embracing it.
And then tell everyone else.
Psych, yeah, that's a terror suspect throwing a bomb at anti-Islam protesters in New York. I told you so. Radical Islamists are coming to kill you. Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Happy Monday. Listen, a lot of people who, I don't know, speak the truth and get censored, get, criticized and all of that, they'll be like, oh, well, I hate to say I told you so. Not me. I don't hate to say I told you so. I have been telling you guys, radical Islam is coming to destroy and dismantle Western civilization. And what that means is that if you don't submit, if you don't bow down to Allah, you're dead. It's a story, a tale as old as time. They've been doing it every freaking where they go. And coming soon to a city near you. Let's go over to what just happened in New York City, okay? They had an anti-Islam protest, and it was outside the mayor's mansion. I mean, that's pretty perfect, right? You've got the Muslim commie mayor. He's bringing all of this in. Why not just make your protest right outside the mayor's mansion? And as this protest was taking place, you had two jihadists inspired by ISIS come and try to kill them by throwing an improvised explosive device, an IED, at these protesters while yelling, we hate you. Just kidding. While of course, yelling, Allahu Akbar.
And then tell everyone else.
Now, the suspects were arrested. This was 19-year-old Ibrahim Kayumi and 18-year-old Amir Balat. Now, both parents, both sets of these young men, their parents migrated to America from Turkey and Afghanistan and had become naturalized somewhere in the process. And so essentially, these boys, these men, grew up here. Like they spent their whole childhoods here, but they grew up American, traveled a lot back to Afghanistan and Turkey, as it turns out, went back and forth, getting more radicalized, and then coming back home to America. And so the NYPD actually confirmed these were real bombs, and these two men were inspired by ISIS. They said it, like they told police. They watched ISIS videos and that they wanted to carry. This is why I don't even know whether or not it's like retardation or just loyalty to their cause that they're like, yeah, we did it. We watched ISIS videos. And by the way, our goal was to carry out an attack that was bigger than the Boston Marathon bombing because that only killed like 3 people. We wanted way more. They said Islam isn't a religion that just stands when people talk about the blessed name of the prophet. We take action, baby. They said that. Well, without the baby. They said, you can't just talk about it. We have to take action. This is what we're called to do. Now, there are you look at this and it's like, you couldn't, if you were writing a story, you couldn't even make this up. It feels like sometimes we're living in a simulation. You have these news stories that are so beyond parody. It's like terrorists try and blow up anti-Islam protesters in New York City outside the home of the Muslim commie mayor. That's a Babylon Bee headline in the works. But it's real. It really actually happened. I'd like to introduce you within this story to Walter Masterson. He is the guy with the megaphone that you just saw. And I want to add some context to this, okay? He's allegedly a comedian. I don't know. I haven't seen his work. I don't know if he's actually funny. But he said about this, he's the one with the megaphone. I was in the middle of saying, as a born and raised New Yorker, we welcome everyone into the city, when he threw that over my head, of course, referring to the IED that was just thrown over his head as he was talking about how diversive and inclusive they are in New York City. And so I want to play the full thing with that context in your mind. Watch.
We were born and raised in New York, and we want everyone here to stay in New York. You don't get to come from outside and then tell everyone else.
So, yeah, I mean, your first probably initial thought to this, if you have a lick of common sense, is like, oh, well, maybe he rethought that whole, we welcome everyone. We love everyone. We want you guys to all come here. Maybe he rethought that philosophy after a literal self-confessed terrorist launched an IED off of his back. Maybe he'd have a little bit of reflection since then. No, he says, I still stand by it. As a born and raised in New Yorker, everyone is welcome. Everyone except Chief Goat Jake Lang, who was leading the anti-Islam protest. Now, I'd like to just use this opportunity to remind everyone, I'm not like a Jake Lang fan, but now I have no choice but to defend Jake Lang, because you're talking about an Islamic terrorist, okay? Jake Lang might be like in it for clicks and likes, but you're talking about an Islamic terrorist who was inspired by ISIS and just tried to kill an American citizen. That's crazy. But guess what? It gets crazier, because when it comes to, this entire thing, instead of condemning a terror attack in the city, you have this Muslim commie mayor who decided that it was actually the protests that were the problem. It was you know what? If you don't like Islam, you're actually the problem, and I guess it's your fault.
This was a vile protest rooted in white supremacy entitled Stop the Islamic Takeover of New York City. I'm the first Muslim mayor of our city. Anti-Muslim bigotry is nothing new to me, nor is it anything new for the 1 million or so Muslim New Yorkers who know this city as our home.
Actually, it's your problem. You're the problem. I mean, if you wouldn't have, if you would have just submit to Islam, just submit. If you just submit to Islam, we wouldn't have to throw the IEDs, okay? But you guys are complaining. You're criticizing us for wanting to take over. You're criticizing us for saying the quiet parts out loud, and you just shouldn't do that. So, I mean, listen, she should have just made you a sandwich, and he wouldn't have had to punch her in the face. That's akin to what this is. Like, what? We're not allowed to protest? I don't know. Last time I checked, it was a free country. I guess not in New York City anymore, now that you have a Muslim commie mayor. Even after Mamdani refuses to condemn radical Islam after ISIS-inspired bomb attack as disturbing new details emerge. Guys, this is the point of all of what they do. It is the point. Of course, he won't condemn it because he knows. At the end of the day, he knows that this is the goal. They all do. But somehow you're the problem and you're just Islamophobic. Well, let me tell you, if you're scared of Islam, it's not an irrational fear. That's where the term phobic comes in. It's not an irrational fear. That just means that you're paying attention. Now, this is the part where I regret to inform you, it just gets more absurd. Because here you have not just the Muslim commie mayor trying to make it, let me tell you why it's the victim's fault. The media, of course, did what the mainstream media does, and they proved once again, it's like every day they prove why President Trump calls them the enemy of the people. Daily Mail said it was actually the mayor that was targeted. The mayor is actually the victim. 6 arrested after homemade nail bombs launched at home of NYC mayor. You know what? It must have been the white men. It must have been evil white people who were going after that poor Islamic communist mayor. That's what it must have been. You might think that if you just read the Daily Mail's article, just the headline there, and you're like, oh no. Oh no, it must have been an evil, mean Islamophobe that was trying to kill the mayor. No. Quite to the contrary. Now, NBC went with that same energy, same vibes, but they got a community note. The bombs were thrown at the anti-Muslim protesters, not by the anti-Muslim protesters, as this post and the story would lead you to believe. Witnesses say the attackers shouted Allahu Akbar as they threw the bombs at the protesters. Oops. I mean, it's just oops. Just an honest mistake, I'm sure. I'm sure that NBC accidentally left that part out. I'm sure they accidentally left the part out, the 2 words that make you know exactly who did this. Oop. Oh, they shouted what? Allahu Akbar? Oh. Whoops. We'll leave that part out. We'll just make it so that the Muslim commie mayor is the victim, I guess. Now, ABC News really honestly takes the cake here. I don't have a high bar for the mainstream media. It's, in fact, the lowest of low bars that you could possibly imagine. And somehow, this even, my mouth hit the floor when I read this. An activist holds a homemade explosive device. They're describing the picture here. An activist holds a homemade explosive device before throwing it towards police during a protest organized by far-right influencer Jake Lang against alleged Islamification. Now, I'd like to unpack this for a moment, if I may. An activist, that's who that is. An activist holds a homemade bomb before throwing it towards police during a protest organized by that meanie, Jake Lang, against alleged Islamification. Are you guys out of your minds? An activist? How many innocent activists do you know that are holding homemade? You know what? Stephen, would you consider me a conservative activist? I get called that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so I too am an activist. Have you ever seen me hold a fucking homemade explosive device before throwing it towards police?
I have not.
I can tell you with absolute certainty, not only have I never, as an activist, not only have I never held or made a homemade explosive device, I've also never thrown it towards police because I've never done that. I can tell you with absolute certainty, you will never find me doing that because that is a crime. And that's not how I roll as an activist. So something tells me these people are a little bit more than activists. See, the word that you're looking for, ABC, the word that you're looking for is a terrorist. They are Islamic terrorists. But please, go on. Explain to me how this Islamification is alleged. Okay? Tell me how the Islamification of this country is alleged, and somehow we are talking about how Zohran Mamdani is painted into being the victim, according to the mainstream media. He also refuses to condemn this radical jihadi attack. And it's just so bonkers crazy that we are even living in this world. Actually, we've got these evil protesters who are warning against the dangers of Islam, who are the real villains in this story somehow. And by the way, remember, the Democrats still have the government in a partial shutdown and they're defunding DHS. Guys, now would probably be the time to make sure that DHS can operate fully staffed, operating on all cylinders, because we got a lot of these people. And I heard that there was a memo sent out from Iran telling all of these sleeper cells within our country to go ahead and just go time. That's what I read. So probably now would be the time to fund DHS. I mean, unless you want another 9/11. Now, remember, this is the Democrat talking point. It's like DHS was only created after 9/11, and that's why somehow we don't need it. I don't know.
The Department of Homeland Security was created and built to violate our rights and has been empowered to act with impunity in the way it was formed after 9/11.
I love, yeah, okay, and? So your argument, ma'am, let me get this clear. Your argument, ma'am, is that somehow it shouldn't exist because it was formed after the worst terror attack on our soil to ever take place. And that's when it was formed. And somehow your argument is like, because it was formed after the worst terror attack to ever take place on domestic soil, somehow it shouldn't exist. Because what I'm seeing, ma'am, is that these are happening with escalating intensity. And what I'm seeing, ma'am, is that now that we're in this war with Iran, like it or not, we've got a whole hell of a lot of people who just came over under Joe Biden, just waiting in the wings. I think now's the time. I'm pretty sure now's the time. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw this, those of you who live in Texas, but this is the type of energy that we need. Okay. Let me give you this headline. Banning Islam, deporting Muslims discussed at Fort Worth Church after primary election. That is the energy we need. Also, Representative Andy Ogles, Muslims don't belong in American society. Pluralism is a lie. He's getting blasted by the left for that.
Oh, yeah. Who was that?
Andy Ogles.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that, I was like, inject it into my veins. Inject this into my veins. This needs to be the talking point, okay? It's not personal. It's not personal. It's just a national security issue. I'm sure that there are Muslims who are peaceful, but they're really bad at their religion. They're really bad at their form of governance, if that's the case. But regardless, we don't need to take any more chances. It's just not worth it. It's really just not worth it. That is the kind of energy we need to continue in the year of our Lord 2026 is all that I'm saying. Make sure that you subscribe to YouTube, Sara Gonzales Unfiltered, smash the like button, or gently tap it if you'd like. We all appreciate a gentle tapping from time to time. And comment, it'll help us in the algorithm, which we all know is stacked against us. And then what you can do is you can go over to Sara Gonzales TX, our new YouTube channel. By the way, check out the latest H1B expose. If you haven't watched it yet, you can do that by going to Sara Gonzales TX. It is exclusively only on that YouTube channel, so don't miss it. And we want to thank our sponsor this segment, PreBorn. So PreBorn is amazing. It's very simple what they're doing and what their mission is. They are trying to save the babies. They're saving so many babies' lives. And this is why. Because when a woman enters a Planned Parenthood, they're sold a bunch of lies. They're told it's just a clump of cells. Don't worry about it. You can't afford it. No one's going to help you. It's going to be so terrible for you. And the woman, in that moment is pressured into having an abortion. Well, PreBorn's network of clinics is the complete opposite. They go in there, they're shown the hope of the gospel, and they are shown an ultrasound. It's really that simple. They listen to the heartbeat. They see their baby on ultrasound, and they're told the truth. And in that moment, more than 80% of the time, when a mother sees her baby on a PreBorn ultrasound, she is choosing life. This March, PreBorn is trying to save 6,800 babies, and they are on their way, but they need your help. Okay, so here's my ask. $28 is the cost of one ultrasound. That is one baby's life that you can save. 140, 5 babies' lives saved. How many babies can you help us save? You can donate however much you feel so led. Maybe it's just $28, and that's totally fine. Okay, you know that money is used to save babies' lives. PreBorn.com/Sara is where you can make that donation. That is PreBorn.com/Sara. Oh, I was just reminiscing about the days when Big Mike was like, when they go low, we go high, which we all know they've never done. Like, they always go low. They always go as low as you can go. They actually, like, they're already in the mud. They bring us down to where they are. But at least they tried to message that they didn't. They're just kind of giving up on that messaging. Like, Democrats are just, like, giving up, trying to pretend like they have the high ground on anything, I guess for the day. I don't know. I'm sure they'll change their minds very quickly, but at least over the weekend, they decided to hijack the funeral service for Reverend Jesse Jackson to push their radical ideologies. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Jesse Jackson was very, very political. Jesse Jackson was very radical. Probably he would have wanted them to do that. Actually, according to his son, that was the last thing that he wanted. So let's back up a little bit. Several weeks ago, after Jesse Jackson had passed, his son, Jesse Jackson Jr., warned people not to bring politics to his funeral service.
Do not bring your politics out of respect to Reverend Jesse Jackson and the life that he lived to these homegoing services. Come respectful and come to say thank you. But these homegoing services are welcome to all, Democrat, Republican, liberal, and conservative, right wing, left wing, because his life is broad enough to cover the full spectrum of what it means to be an American. We only ask people to come and be respectful in the context of the extraordinary life that he lived.
Seems very clear, a very clear and polite warning from Jesse Jackson Jr., but you guys are going to be shocked to hear Democrats didn't care. They didn't care. Now, you had in attendance Bill and Hillary Clinton. I guess they were done with their, testimony. Bill was done like flirting with Nancy Mace during his congressional hearing. So they attended. Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. And instead of heeding Jesse Jackson Jr.'s advice, they decided that someone's funeral was the time to attack, yes, you guessed it, Orange Man bad, Donald Trump. Watch.
Each day we wake up to some new assault on our democratic institutions. Another setback to the idea of the rule of law. Each day we're told by those in high office to fear each other and to turn on each other, and that some Americans count more than others.
The accent is too much.
And that some don't even count at all.
What's happening?
He's a Southern
Everywhere
preacher.
we see greed and bigotry being celebrated, and bullying and mockery masquerading as strength. We see science and expertise denigrated, while ignorance and dishonesty and cruelty and corruption are reaping untold rewards every single day. We see
every single day.
It's hard to hope.
Oh, everyone, every moment. Can I get an amen? Oh, in this moment, like, give me a break. Give me a break. And what's even more despicable are the people standing up and clapping. Like, this is supposed to be a solemn, somber moment. And Barack Obama just turned into like a Southern preacher, apparently, and has an accent that he never had before. Actually, I take that back. I'm sure he had it on his campaign trails whenever he was getting elected. Other than that, couldn't find the accent anywhere. And these people are getting up and standing and clapping and hooting and hollering because he is what? Owning Donald Trump? That's disgusting, guys. Now, I also, we heard from Kamala, and it's like, you ever watch the movie He's Just Not That Into You? Like, this is Kamala now in the country. Like, we didn't vote for you, which means we don't want to hear from you. And somehow she just keeps popping up and is like, oh, is this microphone for me? Okay. All right. Well, here's what I have to say. And she thought that she had something here. I don't know. You guys tell me. Watch.
So let me just say, I predicted a lot about what's happening right now.
Oh. She told you so.
I'm not into saying I told you so, but we did see it coming. But what I did not predict is that we would not have Jesse Jackson with us right now to help us get through this.
Okay, Stephen, I'm going to ask you in a second to play this one more time. Watch you see the moment on Kamala's face as she's that she's like, oh shit, we're at a funeral. I probably should not be laughing like this. And you see her like in real time go like, now back to our solemn occasion. Watch.
So let me just say, I predicted a lot about what's happening right now.
There it is.
I'm not into saying I told you so, but we did see it coming. But what I did not predict is that we would not have Jesse Jackson with us right now to help us get through this.
What I did not predict. I'm reining it in now. Okay. I mean, thank you for the reminder of the shit show that could have been had you gotten elected, Cackles. And somehow, Kamala wasn't the most incoherent speaker at this thing because I did tell you. I told you who else was in attendance. Enjoy.
Here's the point. You know, the fact is that as I learned, and by the way, I've forgotten more about what Putin does and these guys and she than most people know. I've met with Putin for, anyway.
Honestly, I've forgotten how much I enjoyed watching these clips. And honestly, I enjoy them much more that he's not president because it was terrifying when he was president. And now it's just pretty funny to laugh. Like, what? Every time he trails off, it's... So anywho, I'm just going to move on. Just pretend. Like, play that again, Stephen.
Here's the point. You know, the fact is that as I learned, and by the way, I've forgotten more about what Putin does and these guys and she than most people know.
Forgotten.
I've met with Putin for, anyway.
Is it Putin or pooping? I don't know which one.
He's forgotten about either Putin or pooping, probably both of which are correct. So I don't really know, but he's forgotten about more about Putin and Xi and anyone else. So anyway, now I'm not done with Joe Biden. Okay. He, as we know, not only can he not string together a coherent sentence, he also just like says random things about himself that are not true. So now we find out, apparently, Joe Biden was involved in appointing the first black justice to the Supreme Court when he was a freshman senator.
They put me on two really important committees. The Judiciary Committee, which allowed me to appoint the first black justice to the Supreme Court.
That would be great, but Thurgood Marshall was appointed 4 years before Joe Biden got into office. So I don't actually know who he's talking about. Clarence Thomas? I don't know. But what I know to be a fact because of Joe Biden's history is that he is very racist against black people. And, I know he's like, hey, there's the black people. Hey, I got that one black guy friend. And that's what he was doing, right? He's like, I'm not racist. I appointed the black guy, the first black guy. It was me. I appointed the first black woman. I mean, she's dumb as all get out, but she's black. I'm not racist. We know Joe Biden's history with racism. And he was making a point about how people called him stupid because of his stutter, I guess. And then a heckler called him stupid, and here was that exchange.
Now, if I told you all earlier when I was a kid I had a cleft palate or a club foot, none of you would have laughed. But it's okay to laugh at stuttering. I'm not being critical of you, but think about it. It's the one place where people think you're stupid. Oh, really? I'm a hell of a lot smarter than most of you.
First of all, fact check. That doesn't appear to be true. Second of all, probably don't call an audience of black mourners stupid. Probably don't do that. Hey, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. Now, I will say, at least he didn't go so far as Gavin Newsom did, who was like, I'm dumb like you guys. I can't read either. I can't. I only got a 940 on my SAT. Did I mention I can't swim? Like, that's Gavin Newsom. So I will say, Joe Biden can go lower. I tell you guys, the Democrats have no floor. He could go lower. Now, Jesse Jackson's son was not happy with this. He told them, he warned them, they did it anyway. And credit where credit is due, he did call them out for that.
I listened for several hours of 3 United States presidents who do not know Jesse Jackson. He maintained a tense relationship with the political order, not because the presidents were white or black, but the demands of our message, the demands of speaking for the least of these, those who were disinherited, the damned, the dispossessed, the disrespected, demanded not Democratic or Republican solutions, but demanded a consistent, prophetic voice.
Al Sharpton's like, who, me? Who, me? I gotta tell ya, when I finally pass, which I hope is not for a very long time, unless Jesus comes back, I really would prefer that people don't go to my funeral and start talking about their stutter or like politics and how, people are dumb and Donald Trump is evil or whatever. Like, what a total disrespect. What a complete and utter lack of respect for not only Jesse Jackson, but Jesse Jackson's son, who just gave them one simple request. And it really is not hard. You're there to celebrate the life of this one man and mourn his death, not to make it about yourself or make it about your politics. It should be very easy. And somehow the Democrats can't handle it, which really shouldn't shock you to see this latest poll. They're not doing well, not doing great. 30% of people have a positive view of the Democrats. That's it. 52% negative view. Now, Republicans not doing much better. It's a little bit better, but 30% have a positive view of the Democrats. Gee, I can't imagine why. Anywho, I want to thank our sponsor this segment, MDHearing. So, MDHearing, listen, I have a relative who is starting to lose their hearing. And when I was told how much regular hearing aids cost, I felt like I was deaf because I was like, say what? Can you speak into my good ear? I can't pay thousands of dollars just so you can hear. MDHearing is the solution to that issue because they have these rechargeable, high-quality digital hearing aids, $297 a pair. That is over 90% less than traditional clinic hearing aids that I'm telling you about. And the doctors that created it, they were like, or the doctor who created it, is like, we see these patients that are like they have to pick, do I pick paying my mortgage or do I pick being able to hear? It shouldn't be like that. They've got the new Neo model. It fits inside the ear, and the Neo XS is their smallest hearing aid ever. The technology is great. No one's going to see it. It's not the big, bulky thing like it was anymore. And by the way, their customers say that they outperform devices that cost 10 times more. Try it. It comes with a 60-day trial and 100% money-back guarantee. Get big savings with a tiny hearing aid with MDHearing. Go to shopmdhearing.com. Use promo code Sara to get a pair of hearing aids for $297. They're going to add in a free extra charging case. That's a $100 value just for listeners of Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. ShopMDHearing.com. Use promo code Sara to get the pair of hearing aids for $297. In case you missed it, there's a viral video that's been in the news, making the rounds on X specifically, of a man who is allegedly in America on an H-1B visa, completely and blatantly disrespecting our monuments. This is Madhu Raju, who apparently worked on an H-1B visa for a company called Palo Alto Networks. And look at him dancing with his friend at the World War II Memorial in Washington, D.C., because that's where you're going to celebrate and just, yeah, do your little TikTok dance, dude. Go on with your bad self. I mean, our veterans, our military service members died so that you could come to this country and exploit us and take our jobs and then dance on our memorials, dude. I mean, please, really, go ahead. That's why our service members died. That's why my grandfather fought, so that you could come here and do your stupid ass TikTok dance, right? Now, we tried to verify his status, but having a little bit of trouble doing that because he started taking down all of his LinkedIn and social media, which does lead me to believe that the allegedly part is true. Now, I say he worked for that company because there are rumors online that he was fired because of this stunt. Now, we tried reaching out to the company to get his public access file. They've been a little tricky to reach. Seem to be running into the same problem. Ring, ring, ring. Up. Doo, doo, doo. The phone number is no longer in service. Or, it always ends up that way. So I don't know. We couldn't get through. Perhaps it's legit. Maybe it is. That's fine. But also, we can't verify because we can't get a hold of anybody. Couple of interesting things to point out, though. This same guy has apparently been running dance classes out of a studio in Dallas. This is the Mad About Dance Studio. Madhu Raju running the class. Well, someone has to practice to go dance on the World War II Memorial. Now, I want to make it clear, as you're looking at these, dancing, not a crime. However, if this guy is here on an H-1B and he is getting paid, as you see here, for these dance classes, that is a huge violation of his work visa terms. You are not allowed to have another job. You are not allowed to do what it appears that this guy is doing right here in broad daylight. And the website and the social media accounts for the dance studio have already been scrubbed from the internet after this went viral. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Now, if he's not guilty, why would you start scrubbing everything? Okay. Now, also, if he has been fired, he has 60 days to leave the country or find another job. So we will be watching closely. Maybe he'll just magically get a job at one of these other, super real tech companies, totally real tech companies based here in Dallas. And maybe we just might have to pay him a visit. I'm a pretty good dancer, but maybe I could use a dance class from Madhu Raju. Now, one other thing worth mentioning, listen, if Palo Alto actually fired him, great, good on them. But I just would like to state for the record, Palo Alto seems to be America last in their H-1B sponsorship. Last year alone, they sponsored or re-sponsored 582 H-1B visas. Please tell me, look at this. That's just last year. Look at the numbers. Those of you who are listening on audio podcast, let's see. 2024, that's 71 new ones. 300 and what is that, Stephen? 393 continuous approvals. So re-upped. 2022. It goes on. It's a 38, 62, 70, 60, 332, 418, 383, 177. They are not hiring American citizens. In what world would you ever need 582 H-1B visas in 1 year? I cannot think of one instance where a company, as large as they may be, would need over 500 people because those people are so specialized and so unique in their abilities that whatever the hell they do, we don't have any Americans to fit the criteria. I just don't have Like, that doesn't exist. So maybe the company fired them. I fired him. I don't know. But I'm telling you, the company stinks. And maybe, I don't know, maybe the Sara Gonzales Unfiltered team should look into them. But our eyes are on you. Madhu Raju, wherever you end up. Knock, knock, knock. Can you hear that, Stephen?
Yeah, you can hear it.
It hurts my knuckles.
I mean, you shouldn't knock on marble, but
It doesn't feel good. I mean, I'll do it for the show, but that hurts. I don't know why I keep doing it. Anywho, make sure that you, if you have not yet subscribed to BlazeTV, hey, you can by going to blazetv.com/Sara. You save some money while you're at it, $20 with promo code Sara, blazetv.com/Sara. Now, you may think that you have seen the funniest, greatest clip of a trans meltdown. I would tell you, you might not have, because I think I've just found it's hard because there's a lot of good ones, but it definitely is like top 3, I think, of trans people melting down. Watch.
Sir, what do we think of Nick Fuentes? What pronouns are she, hers? Sir, what do we think of Nick Fuentes?
She or hers means I'm a woman. Every time you say sir is a felony in the United States of America, California, where we live. It is. You need to look it up. You need to read. It literally is. You need to read. Have it read to you. Find someone who can read what that means. It actually is.
Sir, that is not a felony. Not a felony, sir.
You're wrong and dangerous wrong.
Why is it dangerous?
Get this wrong. Pronoun abuse is a crime, stupid. In your career, whatever the you think you are.
Thank you, sir. We love the support from the trans community.
That last support?
What? Sir, we can't hear you.
Have a nice day, sir. Felony one. Anybody else want to commit a serious hate crime?
Call the cops then, sir.
California.
911.
Truly.
You can never be doing what you're doing at all.
Then do it. Call the cops then if it's a felony.
You love stupid.
We misgendered them.
I love that the tranny was like, whatever the hell you think you are. Like, sir, that is you. Sir, you are the one who is totally unclear that you are actually a man. I don't think that you need to be accusatory that someone else doesn't know what they're doing here. Please seek help. Now, it is giving it's ma'am vibes, and I just like, it is one of my all-time faves. So you guys, we're gonna watch both back to back, and I want you guys to tell me in the comments which one takes the cake.
You're gonna give me my money back.
Excuse me, sir. There's a young man in here. And you watch
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I can call the police if you'd like me to. You need to settle down.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay? Both of you guys? Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys.
It's right beforehand, you said sir.
Sir? Okay.
Mother, take it outside. If you want to call me sir again, I will show you a sir.
I apologize.
Mother.
I apologize now.
That was like total man energy too. So it's so hard for me to pick. I can't, it's like, I can't pick one. You can't eat just one. That's like, what is that, Lay's potato chips? It's like, trans videos are like Lay's potato chips. You can't just pick one.
I don't think this one's close.
It's the ma'am?
It's ma'am.
It's ma'am!
You can't beat this.
It's ma'am!
You're gonna give me my money back.
Excuse me, sir. There's a young man in here. And you watch
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
I can call the police if you'd like me to. You need to settle down.
You need to settle down and mind your business, okay?
Both of you guys?
Ma'am, once again, ma'am.
I said both of you.
No, you said sir. Once again, it's ma'am.
I actually said both of you guys. It was general.
Right beforehand, you said sir.
Sir? Okay.
Mother, take it outside.
This is such masculine energy.
I will show you a sir.
I apologize.
Mother.
I apologize now.
Okay, so that is either you've got the dude losing it and being like, let's take it outside, and then punching something so that's either a dude or a black woman. Because that's like kind of it's the same energy. Cursing at someone and threatening them to catch me outside, and then throwing all their stuff down. That's either masculine energy or black woman energy. I don't know which one you wanna pick there. Now, okay, Stephen, it's ma'am wins for you between those two. What about the one we played this recently? But let's just for comparison purposes.
No, I will never acknowledge that. Never put those words in my mouth.
Male? Why?
Never put it in my mouth.
Well, I'm not putting it. I'm putting it in my mouth.
Take it out.
Just remember.
I am not male.
No, you're being
I am not. I don't give a. I am not male. I am
demonic.
a woman. I am her wife. You worthless shrew. Get out of my face.
See, that one is different because I do think that person is truly possessed. Like that one's difficult. But calling someone a shrew, I could actually kind of respect that. I'd like to bring shrew back as an insult. Now, I have talked about these trans men. Let me give you one more comparison here. Which is worse, okay? The men who like to cosplay as women, or liberal, mentally ill white women, or just liberal women in general. A bunch of women took to Central Park to celebrate International Women's Day this weekend, and that went about how you would expect.
What makes you mad? And now I beg you to scream!
Oh my God, the dog. Why?
It's okay to scream! You are allowed to be loud! You are allowed to have a voice, and you
Mad
women
about
need it!
what?
You are the leaders! You are the ones who will make the change happen. It is us!
Oh, I just feel bad for the dog. Why are you subjecting the dog to the? Can we get PETA involved? This woman is mentally ill. She doesn't need to bring her dog around to do all this. Like, what is she even talking about? Ma'am, I can't even understand you. You are screaming into a device that is there to amplify your voice. You don't have to do that. I don't know what it's going to take for them to learn. The device is already making you louder. You don't need to scream into it. I really am. I'm scared for the dog. Can we get a welfare check on the dog, please?